Hi, this is the first of 3 videos on how to replace the bearings on a range of Hotpoint washing machines. The model I'll be working on is one of the WF range, although there were a number of other models which used the exact same drum and motor layout, only the controls and cabinets were different. So this video would apply to a number of models in the Hotpoint, Creda, Indesit and Ariston range of machines. Having said that, it's not possible to change the bearings on every model that uses this outer container, because some were produced with welded units. That's to say, they can't be split and the inner drum is sealed within the container. So check if there's a ridge around the centre of the container with screw fixings before you start dismantling the machine. The models known to use welded tubs are WF101, WF321, WF326, WF541 and WF546, plus there may be others. Before you attempt any repair on a domestic appliance, turn the power off and remove the plug. Lower the outlet hose into a bowl and this will empty most of the water, if there's any left in the drum. When no water comes out or you want to stop the flow, just replace the hose in the standpipe. Move to the back of the machine and remove the inspection panel. You'll need to get a bowl or tray under the machine to catch the water when you remove the sump, so tilt it forward and rest it on a wall or something solid. Now insert the bowl. To remove the sump you have to loosen the Jubilee clip holding it to the container and it will come free. If you've emptied the drum sufficiently there shouldn't be any water come out, but there will still be water in the sump, so empty this into the bowl. Look at the motor plug. It can be refitted wrongly because there's a vacant section in the socket that would allow you to fit the plug in the wrong position. I fitted this container back to front to make it easier for filming, but you would have to work within the confines of the cabinet. If you ease the belt towards yourself while turning the pulley anti-clockwise, the belt will come off easily, but be careful not to catch your fingers between it and the pulleys. Use a 13mm socket or spanner and loosen the 2 bolts which are holding the motor on by about 6 or 7 turns, but don't remove them just yet. Then with the handle of a hammer tap them in. This will free the motor from its seating and make it easy to remove once the bolts have been fully undone. Grip the motor with both hands because it's heavier than it looks and push it away from its locating points on the container. Cut the cable tie holding the wires and remove the spade connectors from the heater. Don't worry about which wires go where on the heater because it really doesn't matter, as long as you remember the green and yellow wires go on the earth. There are a number of different types of thermistor plugs. Some just pull out and others like this one have a small flap or lip which holds it in place. You can now stand the machine upright, but be aware there may still be water left in the container, so it would be wise to at least have an old towel or a shallow tray under the machine before you do so, or you could end up with water all over your floor. On this particular model the lid is held on by 2 screws on the back, but other models that this video applies to, such as the WMA range, have different fixing methods, such as screws on the side front edges. They also vary in how they come off. Some lift at the back like this one before being pushed off, while others lift at the front and need to be eased back to remove them. Pull the soap drawer out as far as it will come and depress the lever in the centre. This will allow you to pull it all the way out. There are a few screws in the recess behind where the drawer fitted which need to be removed, and this model has other screws on top of the console panel. As well as 2 tabs that lock onto the top edge of the front panel that have to be unhooked before it can be removed. The PCB on this model only has one small wiring plug connected to it, but on the WMA range of machines the console panel houses the control module which has a number of different connections, so it would be wise to take a photo of them before removing. The door seal on these machines are held on by some type of retaining band. In this case it's one with the spring connecting either end, and with the aid of a small screwdriver it can be eased out. Now unhook the edge of the door seal and fold it inside the drum, out of the way. Undo the two screws holding the door lock on, and it may be advisable to hold the rear of the switch when removing the last screw so it doesn't fall inside the cabinet, and to give you extra purchase when you undo it. It's not necessary to remove the switch, but I'm doing so to show you that the switch has a lip on the front edge that hooks into the panel, and this has to be refitted correctly or the door won't close. Pull the kick strip off and remove the two screws on the lower section of the front panel. Then take the screws out from the top of the panel. It won't fall because it's hooked into the cabinet by 4 nylon catches. Lift the panel to unhook it and put it on one side out of the way. With other models referred to in this video, there will be an extra panel across the top at the front of the cabinet which must be removed. Once this has been achieved, the following video will refer to all models. Using a 13mm socket or spanner, undo the front balance weight bolts and remove it. Now remove the top weight. You can leave these metal shims in place if you want, as long as they're on tight and you don't lose them. They prevent the weight from rubbing on the container and wearing it away should it become loose. Undo the clip holding the soap dispenser inlet hose onto the container. It may be a nylon clip such as this one, or it could be a Jubilee clip. Then pull it off. You can now fold the dispenser over the back of the machine out of the way. You will need to unclip the pressure hose from the container. There are two clips, one at the top here and one just underneath it. The stabiliser legs are connected to the container by two pegs, and they're held in place by a tab on the end, which prevents them from coming back out once inserted. There are a few ways to remove these pegs, and one way is to screw one of the balance weight bolts into the open end of it and then fit a 13mm ring spanner over the end with the tab. As you can see here, it closes the tab into the peg, which will allow it to be withdrawn from the front. Grip the end of the bolt with a pair of pliers or grips and pull the peg right out. Because of the restriction on space, this is not an easy task in some cases. The alternative method of removal is to use a metal bar and knock the pin out from the end that holds the ring spanner. Don't use a chisel or sharp object, because this would cut into the peg and cause even more problems. Use a flat-bladed screwdriver to lever out the plug on top of the spring. Then do the same on the other side. The springs are both the same, but one hooks into the container facing one way and the other faces the opposite direction. Worth noting for when you refit them. At this point the container weighs very little, so it's relatively easy to lift out. Turn the container on its front and you're ready for stage 2 in the next video, replacing the bearings. On behalf of Selfix UK, we'd like to thank you for watching this video and hope you found it interesting. Goodbye.